Okay, okay. I have another one. Another one of my favorite films of the year. Would you look at
Thanks.
that? So, The
Fitting
Favorite.
enough. Yeah.
Yes, this is a top 10 movie of 2018 for me. I don't see how it could
Can't
get
wait.
bumped off the list. I cannot wait for you to see this film, Will Ashton. Even if you dislike it immensely, it'll just
No, I think
we'd
I'm
love
gonna
to talk
like it.
about it.
Yeah.
I do think this is going to be the one that I like more than you and Maverick Hines. You both are big
Oh, really?
fans of Yorgos Lanthimos. I do. I think that you like a certain flair of his direction style. I'm just predicting that I don't think is 100% in The Favorite, and I think that's why I like The Favorite a little bit more than
Gotcha.
Lobster and Dogtooth.
So it's not dry and as dark, I guess. Is that what you're
It's not
saying?
as dry. It is still dry. It is still pretty dark, but it's
Okay.
just there is more of a comedy here. That's more of like on its sleeve comedy, right? Where I don't think you would say about Killing of a Sacred Deer, but in Lobster, that movie is hysterical. But you know, it's the sort of comedy that most people aren't going to get or appreciate. The Favorite is something that I think a wider audience could actually
Oh yeah,
sit
I can see
through.
that.
Yeah, it's far more accessible. And to some people, that's a criticism against it. For me, it's not. I actually think that it's a testament to how good the story is here. So The Favorite is a anachronistic historical period comedy drama. A lot of words, but that really nails it, I think, in terms of everything this film is doing. Unlike other Yorgos Lanthimos films, he did direct this. However, the screenplay is from Deborah Davis and Tony McNamara. Deborah Davis, I believe, not a newcomer, but definitely not as well known as McNamara and Lanthimos. So this film is quite a showcase of actresses. We have Olivia Colman, who I think is a shoo-in for, if not Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress. We have Emma Stone, Rachel Weisz, and they make up really the trio that powers this film. Nicholas Hoult also has a role. But really is sort of like the circus gesture character in some ways. So this follows the reign of Queen Anne, who was the British monarch, I believe, in the early 18th century. And we've seen a lot of period dramas before where royalty sort of has like they have their favorite person, right? And we follow Queen Anne's favorite, somebody who's always at her side. This is the lady of the court, Sarah Churchill, who is her confidant, her advisor, and maybe something else, as we start to learn as we watch the film. And the two of them, we watch their daily lives where Queen Anne, she's kind of acts like a toddler. There's a war going on with France, but she barely even knows that it's going on. She's very
Timely.
demanding. Exactly, exactly. And when are they not at war, right? I think in her defense. But no, she's a very, when the film first presents her, you get this picture of someone who needs to be babysat. And who is to babysit her? But of course, Sarah. And, as you can expect from Rachel Weisz, she's strong, she's confident. She's the only person in Queen Anne's life who, actually tells her things that she doesn't want to hear, who doesn't just say things to make her happy, but tells her the truth, as it were. And so you watch their relationship sort of unfold, but in the distance, you have a servant who is rising through the ranks. She's actually distantly related to Sarah. Her name is Abigail. She's played by Emma Stone. Much younger than the two main leads. She comes in and she starts to court favor herself with Queen Anne, and you can sort of see her playing her own Game of Thrones, as you can imagine. And we start to learn more about everyone's different backstories. And this is one of those films. It's like a dark Downton Abbey of who wants what when. Characters are going to absurd lengths to undermine each other. Certain scenes, and I mentioned anachronistic before because there are dance numbers in here. I don't want to say they're like A Knight's Tale or anything like that, but there is sort of this like playful insanity behind the staging of this that is just a thrill to watch. It's always funny, and even in the way some of these scenes are shot, you have scenes where you're in this very authentic looking castle where these characters kind of live and operate. And every once in a while, the camera will switch to a fisheye lens. And it's strange and it's disorienting and it sort of boxes you in, and it sort of reminds you that you're watching these people in private moments, and it makes you kind of rethink context. And I can see for a lot of people it not exactly working as a filmmaking device. It's not, I think, something like Alfonso Cuarón's, experimentation, which tends to really just work in sort of the why didn't I think of that sort of way. Here, it sort of comes off as a gimmick in some parts. But what does not come off as a gimmick is just the story and the way that it comes to life with these three women. It's enchanting. It goes to some expected places, some unexpected places, and when it all comes together, there is a moment that recontextualizes Olivia Colman's performance that it was truly one of my favorite character turns in the last year. This is one of my favorite films of the year. I think that it's just a true treasure. It's one of those films that I cannot wait to recommend to people who love this time period, who maybe want some more challenging cinema in terms of like, it's not, the sort of period drama that's, surface level ideas and, the Tudors, or I guess the Tudors isn't a good example because that one gets kind of ridiculous at certain points. But you know what I mean. I mentioned Downton Abbey before. Perhaps that's a better comparison. I do think there's so much to love here, and I think a lot of people are really going to love it. So I actually gave it an A minus. So that's the favorite, and it's not taking the box office by storm. It's a $3.5 million off of a $15 million budget, but it's still a limited release. So hopefully, it's going to expand, and I think some awards attention is going to make it a very modest hit. I hope.
Yeah, I see it Wednesday, and I honestly cannot wait. I say that a lot on this show, but this is one of those movies I'm like, I really, really want to see this because it looks fantastic.
Lower your expectations. I want you to go into it and then not hate it. So.
I don't think I'm gonna hate it, but yeah, I'll try to keep myself in check.
Yeah, control your excitement, Will Ashton. For all our sakes.
Check myself before I wreck myself.